Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome to Wednesday. We're halfway through the week, halfway through the day that is halfway through the week, for us anyhow. I don't know where you're
It
at. You
seems
may
like
have actually
there's
already made it.
yeah, it seems like this was Wednesday last week too, right?
Yeah, I'd say about a week ago was the same time of week.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, it's weird how it keeps falling on that time.
Yeah.
Hello, Nicholas, JDC, Shafical, Titus, Huicho, Skull Crusher. I respect that. Sebastian, Anur, um,
Arun.
Arun,
You spelled
sorry.
you yeah, you kind of flip that around.
I, I hit it with some speed and just kind of glazed right over the top. I apologize, Arun, especially for a name that is so close to my own. Um, James
Yeah, you could
Brady's,
have actually pronounced it your way.
that's true, Aaron. We'll just call you Aaron. That'll be a lot easier to remember. James Brady on Facebook is asking about promotions. Do we have any promos going on right now that you know of, Jody?
You know, I can I know some people.
Yeah,
Let
maybe
me
we'll
let me
check and
ask
see what we got going
those
on,
people.
James. Dave, welcome back. TechLink, Tommy, Christian, hey guys. Lawrence, uh, Hamza. I'm sorry, I'm terrible at names. I have a hard time with like my own names. My own name.
Well,
I I do.
you're
I
trying and
regularly misspell my own name. So just so you guys know, it's nothing
so
personal.
here's a good way to remember it. There's this comedian guys. They did this bit where
Oh,
the
geez.
teacher was pronouncing names, and so he would phonetically say the name Aaron, and
Yeah,
that could be you.
that sounds totally new. I've never heard that before. Oh, yeah. Anybody else named Aaron has probably heard that 1 or 7 million times. Oh. Anyhow, let's do this thing. Hey guys, welcome to SketchUp live stream, as we call it here. Uh, I am Aaron. If we have met before, it's good to meet you. If we have met, welcome back. With me, as always nowadays, is Jody.
That's me.
That's Jody.
Morning,
Sorry, we can't
everybody,
show him or
or
anything because
afternoon.
Jody is just a disembodied voice that travels to me through my earpiece. So,
So I had this realization the other day after people were asking to see pictures of the puppy. The dog has his own Instagram, and you're more likely to see a picture of me in his Instagram than in my Instagram. So here is my dog's Instagram.
all right. So there you go.
Just look for the bald guy about 5 rows down, and that's probably me. Unless you think he looks ugly or ridiculous, in which case I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah, like a younger, happier, better-looking John Malkovich. I've heard. All right. Uh, we're gonna hop into this. So you guys may or may have noticed the title of this is either Modeling Lego Together or what did I call it? Modeling the Lego Millennium Falcon Together. We're gonna do that. So just quick housekeeping. I did make a forum post, so you guys can hop over here if you want to lend me your information or get any of our reference files. So I did post, I teased, I straight up, I did this I did it for the clicks. Um, but in the original post, I posted my model from the original Millennium Falcon build. This is the 7,500 whatever piece Lego file that I did. We're not gonna model this. Be honest. I mean, at 2 to 3 hours per live stream, we would be working on this for a couple months. So we're not doing that. A little further down, like the next post where reality shows up, I posted an image of the dimensions of a standard Lego brick. And Lego's kind of cool. We'll talk about this. But Lego does stick to a very consistent set of proportions. So we'll actually see how that works. And if you have one Lego brick, you can really work your way backwards into any size brick or plate. So that's what we're gonna use this for. And I did link to a PDF file. I didn't post it because it's not our file to post, but I did link to the place where it exists. So if you do get on there and, where did it go?
So while you're looking for that, I went ahead
Mhm.
and posted a link. There's actually promo prices. Unfortunately, it's on our store, but it only works for people that are able to purchase through our store using US dollars.
Okay.
So when you go to the link I shared, it will have a link, or I mean, it'll have the promo right there if it's available to you. If you don't see a promo, unfortunately, it's not available to you.
Right. So if you don't see a promo, you should reach out to a local reseller and see if they have something going on, I guess. That sounds
Yes.
realistic, right?
Yep.
Okay. So like I said, I shared a link to this PDF. So this is the PDF we'll be doing. This is the actual Millennium Falcon we'll be modeling. I think we can do this in a couple of hours. The steps will be the same that I used to create the big file, but this is obviously something we can knock out in a shorter period of time. So that's what that is. Back over here, I did want to plug again. We are doing a contest. This is a straight up for fun contest. We don't really have any prizes other than maybe a little bit of bragging rights and possibility of showing up as a guest voice here on a live stream. So that'd be kind of fun. The idea of this contest is you go download this file linked to in the 3D warehouse and customize it, turn it into something cool, and we'll be taking a look at the file entries. We actually have had one entry already, and I think 80 some people have downloaded the file. So I hopefully we'll see some files pouring in. We'll take a look on Friday. We'll go look at how many people have entered. So if you have it and you haven't entered yet, go ahead and get on there. And that's not to say that if you hurry up and enter by Friday, you're done. If this is an evolving contest, and we'll go with the flow. If you enter now and then you want to make changes or make multiple entries, we're good with that. As long as you don't abuse that, I guess. All right, so
So it was commented up here, and it's probably worth mentioning. Today is Earth Day. Happy Earth Day.
happy Earth Day.
Or yesterday was for you people that are
Yeah,
tomorrow.
depending on where
I
you
guess.
are. Here in Boulder, it's Earth Day, and we love our
Yeah.
Earth celebrations here. So I'll be celebrating it alone, I guess, in our rooms.
Also, I'm not hearing it, but several people commented there was some sort of pinging or computer sound happening.
That's my fault.
Okay.
Let me fix that right now.
It's always good to have somebody to blame.
Right.
Especially not me.
Sorry, I had my notifications going to my sound that's going to the stream. I turned it off. I'm sorry, guys. I was hearing that and I was like, I wonder if other people can hear that now too. Yes, apparently.
I was not hearing it, but maybe I'm going deaf or crazy.
No, that's because I don't share your voice back with you, because that seems like then we would be in a loop, and that would be the rest of our lives. Okay.
That sound funny.
So this is the file we're going to put up. This is, yes, it shows up with low quality. It is a little pixely, that kind of stuff. But we just want to model a copy of this. I'm going to leave this on its own screen. We'll just hop back and forth as we create our different pieces. So before we jump into actually creating and putting those pieces together, I do want to hop in here and show how to make just a standard Lego brick. So the first thing, well, here I have just want to show. So if I show this, these are the proportions of a standard building brick. This is standard height, width, and everything's a grid. So like one Lego brick is 9.6 tall and then 8 millimeters wide. That's a single brick. A plate is 1/3 the height of a brick. The studs that are 4.8 millimeters are on a 8 millimeter grid. So everything is very standard. That's why Lego bricks all fit together. This is the really cool part of it.
This feels a lot like the column setup, right? Everything's a proportion to another part. Are they using the golden ratio to determine the size of a single pip cube?
It could happen.
Probably. They probably did.
It could be. That could be very realistically. I don't know what the proportion, 9.6 to 8, is that the golden? I don't remember. I don't know. We'll see. So
Dave R asked on the forum, what the depth of the embossed Lego logo is? You never figured that out, did you?
I didn't try to. No.
All right,
He
fine.
says
I
it's
mean, if you
something
want
like
to
0.016 millimeters. That's pretty tiny. No, to be honest, and one of the things that we're going to do here is I'm actually talk about, I optimized my model quite a bit to get it. I mean, the big model was, it was huge. It was too big to post to 3D Warehouse. I had to break it in 3 pieces to get it on the warehouse. So I want to talk a little bit about how I optimize. I'm not going to model every single piece of this. You of course, if you do it, you are more than welcome to put as much detail in this as you want. That's why we're doing this, is to get you to look at this stuff. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to hop in here right now, and I'm going to take this image. This is the image I posted to the forum, which gives good dimensions. And then right here, I have a smaller portion where I just clipped out a chunk of it that is just the essential dimensions to create one brick. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to start, before we even pull up the directions for the kit, I just want to model just that piece. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to go to my style and import that as a quick watermark. So I'm going to come here, import this, put it in the background. I've done this a dozen times before. You guys have all seen this. I'm going to push it down to the lower right corner and get it just small enough so I can read the dimensions, but it's not taking up too much space. So we can go a little bit, that's too small. Okay, we'll go right about there.
I'm just going to put that in a new tab so that I can stare at it and correct you whenever.
Please do.
I like to do that.
You're good at it. All right, so before I go any further, I'm going to go to my model info, and I'm going to pull up my unit. So right now I'm modeling, my default template is architectural in fractional inches, because that's what I'm used to. That's how I do most of my modeling. But this is going to be, we're going to actually model in meters or millimeters. So I'm going to go to my format, switch to decimal, and I'm going to change my length to meters. I don't need to display to this many points. I'm just going to go like 2 points deep and turn off length snapping. So I'm going to model in meters because we talked about this before. SketchUp doesn't like super tiny geometry, and with this we might get kind of small, like fractions of millimeters. So we're going to model at meters, and then we can scale everything down by 0.001, is that what we decided? To get everything back to what it should be. Well, that's what I say. I noticed that most of the time that I've modeled to scale, to large scale, I never actually include the step of shrinking it back down when we finish. We get done and we're like, oh, it's a beautiful model, it's great, okay, we're done. And then walk away, and then I post it to Warehouse, and I'm like, oh, I never did scale that back down to the actual size. Okay. So let's go ahead and work with that, our meters. So I'm going to start with just the square, 16 by 16. So I'm going to come in here, 16, 16, and I'm in meters, so it automatically draws in meters. So there we go. That looks right against Laura there. I'm going to start by creating the brick. So I'm going to pull that up, 9.6, as is called out with this dimension right here. That gives me the outside of the top of the brick. For the underside, I'm going to go in here and offset 1.6 meters, 1.6, and then that bottom piece is going to push up, but it's going to leave, if I look at this section here, 1.6 at the top. So I'm going to come to the top point right here, and I'm just going to draw a line down, 1.6, and then I can go pull the bottom up till it snaps to that point. All right, so look at that in X-ray. That's what we've got right now. Looks good. That all makes sense. Hopefully so far it's pretty easy. I know I'm moving kind of quick, but this is the basics. We just got to get this basic geometry in. So one of the things that I intentionally did not do in my larger model, and I probably won't do now, anytime I cut corners in this model, it has little to do with model size, because this is a pretty small model. It has more to do with time and energy. I do want to do this in about 2 hours, so I don't want to model every single detail. So there's some parts that I might skip. I'll probably skip the underside. I'll just leave it as a brick like this. I won't go in and put the circle and extrude that down because that ends up adding a lot of steps as we go through and make multiple bricks. So my underside's gonna be a little bit bare, but it's the tops, it's the studs that people really look at. All right, so up here on the top, I'm gonna come in here and figure out where one of these studs go. So the studs, you can see the center of the stud is 4 millimeters in. Like I said, they're 8 millimeters apart. This brick is 16 millimeters wide. So the middle is going to be 4 off of each side. So I'm just going to grab a rectangle, pull it this way, 4 comma 4. That's the center of my first stud. I'm going to grab a circle. I'm going to leave the 24 sides, which is the default. That's about good for the amount of geometry. If I go less than that, it's not going to look quite like a circle. It's going to be super tiny, so doing bigger than that, more sides, doesn't really make much sense. And it's going to recur over and over and over again. There's going to be hundreds of studs by the time we're done, so we don't want to have 100 sides on each one because that's going to multiply out quickly.
All right, all the more reason to not stick Lego embossed in every single stud.
Well, we're getting there. All right, so this is
add that at the end.
This is 4.8 across, so it's a 2.4 radius. So I'd put in 2.4. There we go. Now I'm going to get rid of this geometry, this geometry, this geometry, and I can pull that up 1.6. That's a number that we're going to see a lot. 1.6. All right. Single stud.
MCAD suggested that this is definitely a good use case for guides.
Yeah, that would be a great way to not break that geometry for sure. All right, I'm going to grab this geometry.
It still says Untitled at the top.
Oh, how about that? I live on the edge. I'm 2 minutes into this thing and I haven't saved. All right, let me do a little more geometry and then we'll save. All right, so I'm going to push this one over to the side. And like I said, the stud, the grid spacing on a stud is 8 meters. So it's 8 apart. So I'm just going to push this over 8. Then I'm going to grab this piece and these two. And notice I'm just grabbing the surfaces. All I have to do is grab those faces and it'll grab the edges and bring them along with them. So I'm going to grab those two. I'm going to modifier key move those up the red axis 8. And there we go. With that, we've created our first brick. So this is a 2x2 brick. If I look at the x-ray, no extra geometry on the inside, I can verify that. I'll triple click it all. I'll right click and I'll make it a component. Now, this is one of the spots, if you have seen my bigger Millennium Falcon model, I named these files on the fly. So if you go through the component list, you'll see changes in the naming convention. There was over or close to like 850, or I don't know, there's a lot of different component instances. So they did change after a little bit of time. But I want to try to be consistent here. So I'm going to start by saying, what is it? Is it a brick or a plate? Brick being the tall ones, plates being the short ones. So I'm going to call this a brick. I'm going to dash, and then the stud count. So this is a 2x2, dash white, the color. So that's what I'm going to try. That's how I'm going to try to name all of my components, is with this same thing. We'll see. It'll probably fall apart pretty quickly, but we'll do what we can. So I'm going to go ahead and create that.
Now, do you actually have, does the thing you're making use any of these 2x2 bricks?
I don't know. I'm not sure if they exist. But the cool thing is, once we have that set of proportions, it simplifies the creation of additional bricks. So I know there's a 2x4 in there, the loaf-looking bricks. So that'll be that'll be very easy to transform this into one of those. All right, so one more thing. I know I keep going and I'm not saving. I just keep moving. I'm gonna make a plate real quick. A plate being the short ones. Like I said, plates are 1/3 the size of bricks. So if I come here and draw, I'm just gonna draw another line. I know I'm not using guides. What's my problem? I'm not using guides because this line is the full height of a brick. I'm going to select it, and I'm going to divide that line into 3 pieces. Now, what I'm going to do is this one right here, I'm going to explode this geometry because I don't want it to be part of the component. I'm going to grab my bottom geometry, right there. I'm going to move it vertically, hold on Shift, and pull it to boom, right there.
It looks like that would be 3.2 units.
That should...
That sounds like 2 times 1.6.
Ooh, how about that? There is a pretty solid standard there. So I'm going to take that now, make that into a new component. I'm going to call it a plate dash 2x2 dash white. All right, so we've created 2 bricks now based off of this. I don't need this watermark anymore, so I'm going to come over here to my styles and remove it. Give me back some screen space. Awesome, and let's save. File, save as. Lego Millennium Falcon Mini. Or
So if you
Flacken.
make the Lego pieces all big enough, you can actually create a Lego that is the same size as your gigantic one you made last time.
One could. That's true. It's all a matter of scale, right? We design in digital, so size really doesn't matter. Material doesn't really matter. All right, I'm gonna take this now. So first brick we have here looks like a brown 1x2. So I'm gonna create that. I'm gonna grab this one right here, and I'm gonna move it over. So now, first thing, as I start creating these bricks, what I'm gonna want to do is always either explode it right away, so come in here and explode instantly, or make unique. If I make unique, then I want to make sure I have entity info open and rename it as soon as I hit make unique. What I don't want to do is come in here and start modifying it, because as soon as I do that, my existing bricks that may be used elsewhere in the model will get renamed also.
Wah, wah.
That's bad. Don't do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click this one and I'm going to say make unique. And then immediately, right away so I don't forget, I'm going to come over here and change the name. This is actually a plate. It is a 1x2 and it's going to be brown. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to erase these two lines, grab the edge here that makes up these two faces, and I'm going to shift this over 4 meters. No, 8 meters, I'm sorry. And that's going to give me a 1x2. The other thing, of course, so double click all, fill that. I'm going to use my colored pencils. This would be crayon, of course, if you're on Windows instead of Mac. And there we go. That's our first piece. Now, here's the part that's a bummer.
We're 160th of the way there.
So here's the thing. We immediately launch into some crazy geometry. But this crazy geometry still follows all the same rules. So if we look at this circular plate, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, so it's 6 studs across, 2 wide, 2 wide. So creating this is actually not that difficult. It looks weird, but I'm going to grab this, I'm going to copy this brick, I'm going to bring it over here, and I'm going to option copy it up 2x, and I'm going to take that, and I'm going to copy that from here, option over to here, 2x. So my circle fits on this. In fact, if I come in here with a circle, I'm just going to go navigate to the center of this center plate, and I pull a circle straight up. That is the actual circular geometry of this plate. So I'm going to take that circular geometry and I'm just going to drop it down. All right, see that? So I have that. Now, I want to salvage some of the studs here, but not all of them. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this in a couple ways. I'm going to grab this geometry I just created. I pulled that circle through. I'm going to make that into, whoops, I'm going to triple click and make it into a group. Now, I'm going to take all of these pieces I brought over, these are components, and I'm going to explode them all. Okay, now I'm going to erase the studs I don't need. I could have made this in quadrants and copied it around, but really by the time I do this quick erasing, it's kind of not an issue. So there's a number of times where, yeah, creating 1/2 or 1/4 and then copying it's maybe not always worth it. All right, there we go. Now I need to get rid of the rest of this geometry. I'm just going to pull it like this. I'm thinking the best way to do this as I do it. I am making this all up.
Yeah, Dave's wondering why not use outer shell.
I still got to get rid of this geometry though. By pulling it down though, now I'm making these studs longer, aren't I? Oh, it's all falling apart already. No, not really. We're good. Now I'm just going to rotate to the side like this. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab these studs from the side, and I'm going to copy them, and I'm just going to triple click and delete everything. Now, I'll double click, come into context, edit, paste in place. So one thing happened that's going to be kind of a bummer with that is that didn't intersect. So this is one of the big problems. This is probably the spot that was the most frustrating as I went through and did all this geometry, was this kind of thing. Because what happened was, if I come grab all the bottom edges, when that all joined, none of those studs actually healed. See that? So they're all loose. So I'm grabbing the bottom edge and move them up. So I'm going to grab them and move them again down to where they meet in hopes. That didn't work either. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab this and I'm going to pull it down. And then I'm going to move it up. See if I can't get that to. It didn't join either. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm exploring this. I'm trying to come up with the exact perfect way to do it. When I did this with the big Falcon, what I ended up doing was I actually created a huge plate. So that huge plate I could just go cut shapes out of for stuff like this. What I'm going to do in this case instead is I'm just going to have one cut through like this, make sure it pierces through the other side, and then I can just take it, again, just like I did on the main plate, take that option, copy it over this way, 8, and then I can take both those, option, copy it this way, 8, wait, something's not right. I said 6, 8, 5x, then I can take these 4, option copy this way 8, and then these 2, option copy this way 4. And you see that, I don't know if you caught that, but it's actually, I'm starting to get, it's snapping. These ones are going to move over 16, and then this one and this one are going to move over option 8. That's going to give us that geometry. So next thing I would do is come in here. We'll go into, so you notice I left the bottom open like this. That's just to keep it simple. Once you put your edges in, then you have additional geometry you could accidentally grab from the top. So I left this intentionally open like this. So now I can come in here, I can offset my 1.6, and then I can push it up. And here's something I used a lot. So since these are all in the same place, the bottom of this plate is going to push up to the same spot that this plate is. So you can just go over there and pop that up there like that. So that's most of what has to happen. I'm going to actually call this done for right now and come back and do a little editing on it in a few minutes. So I'm going to take this, make it into a component, and I'm going to call it plate dash round dash I don't know,
6 by 6.
6 by 6?
Yeah.
Gray. And this is actually, there's 2 shades of gray, so this is going to be L gray.
That's it's really popular in the UK, I think. Like around tea time they drink it. Right?
That's L gray.
Oh.
Still works?
It might be time to save.
Okay, Command S. All right, so we have 2 pieces. So there's a couple things that I did do in the original one that we don't have to do, but it's an option. One is I actually left copies of every single piece I made sitting off to the side like this. That way when I needed a piece, I could come over here and grab it. You could leave your component browser up and actually pull pieces out of here. And that probably works for a model this size. Once I got hundreds, then scrolling through here to find the piece I needed was less helpful than just kind of zooming back like this. And I try to kind of group them together so all my 1x2 plates sat in a spot and then my 2x2 plates were together. So I try to do that. That was kind of helpful. That helped. It was an easier way to do that also.
Studio RT Cool was wondering if you're painting the raw geometry or
I am
the whole
painting
canister.
geometry. So I'm coming into the geometry and painting it here, not on the outside.
Also, you just revealed your hair, and everybody is now curious if you actually got a haircut.
It's not bad. It's just, it's like I said, I have rather unruly hair. So the amount of product it would take to keep it behaving is really the thing I'm.
Right. I only have one product for my hair, and it's a shaver. I only have one product.
That works. All right, so I'm gonna grab these and I'm gonna scoot a copy of each over here, grab this piece from the middle and stick it right there. And I'm gonna jump to my next one. See, I have another one of these pieces right back here, so I can grab this one and I can just move it horizontally, Option, and we can move it back 16. All right, now we come to one of the few complicated pieces in this build. This is it's kind of a hinge piece. So this is the bottom hinge that holds the actual piece that pivots inside of it. It's not particularly complex in that how it works. The proportions are still similar, but where the piece is that hinges on it, that kind of thing, we haven't really gotten to that point yet. So I'm going to create this as a component initially, and then I will come back and we'll work details in as we create the other piece that hinges down inside of it. So I'm going to take this piece right here, I'm going to Option copy it over, and I'm going to make it unique also. And I'm going to call this hinge bottom. This is where I said, like, my naming convention fell apart quick because I had to make up names because I know what these things were. So I'm going to call this my hinge bottom 1x2 black. Okay, so I'm going to come in here, get rid of my studs, get rid of my studs. I am going to, I want this to go up the full height of a brick, which was, what was it? The full height was 9.6. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to draw a reference line up 9.6, and I'm going to come in here. When I come in here, I want to grab this piece, and I want to grab the underside too. I'll temporarily hide everything else and grab that part, and bring everything back then, and move that vertically to here. Actually, I don't want to move that underside. I only want to move the top. So I do want it to actually be thick like that. Because the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come into this piece. I'm going to grab these three sides, and I'm going to offset to get this set in, and I'm going to offset it 1.6. I'm not sure if that's right or not, but that's what I'm going to do for right now. I'm going to drop this down to right here. So I'm sure if you looked online, you could eventually find the exact dimensions of this, but I don't know what they are. So I'm making this up a little bit. I'm going to temporarily, I'm going to put the center of that hinge point in the middle. So I'm going to say it goes right here. I'm going to draw a circle of 1.2 because I know that hinge piece is thinner than a full stud. So I'm going to create my geometry kind of like that. I'm going to take that, Option copy that over here because it is on both sides, and then I'm going to push it through and push it through. And then this little piece that sticks up is not as high, so I'm going to actually push this down to maybe right there.
I feel like those side pieces are all half the thickness, like they're not the normal thickness too.
Yeah, that could be. You know what else? Well, I think that might be. I think that they are whatever this thickness of this plate is, which is maybe that is 0.8, I think it's that much lower because the hinge piece that sits on top is going to align with a standard brick. So you're right. Let's push this back 0.8, push this back 0.8, push this back 0.8, and then push this down 0.8. All right, so for right now, this is going to be our hinge piece. I'm going to take that and I'm going to color it. When I model in SketchUp, I very rarely, if ever, actually use black. The reason I don't use black is if I draw this in as black, that is the same color as lines, and you can see on my screen there, you can't see any edges, you can't see any detail. So what I generally will do is I'll come in here and like get a nice dark gray and use that as black instead. That's just my personal preference. It's not a thing you have to do. Let's see. No, I like the other one better. So I do that just knowing that that's actually a black brick. If you look on Lego drawings, they actually, when they create a full black piece, they actually use white for the outline. So that would be an option too. I could actually come into this, color it in black. So I'll come in here, color it black, and then I could change my styles.
So what if this was a red door? Do you think you'd paint that black? I'm sorry,
You can't see me shaking my head right now, can you?
I can see you shaking your head right now, actually. You're a little side picture.
Okay. So I could go in and change, turn on the option for adding styles. I could actually have my lines be by material. The problem right now is that all these existing pieces are going to get gray and then going to turn brown, but if I wanted to, I could actually build that up where as I create each piece, I color the line segments black and then the faces the color I want. But in the case of a black brick, I would color it black, then paint the faces white. That's more work than I want to do right now. Again, not that I'm opposed to working, but just that I want to get this done too.
Right.
So,
it's just right now you don't want to work.
right now, that's, yeah. When you say it like that, I still don't care for it. All right. Let's look what's next. All right, so next thing we have are these angled pieces. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 1, 2, 3 wide. There's not a stud here because it doesn't fit, but that's the width of 3 bricks. So it's a 3 by 6 angled piece. So again, I can use my standard brick as a way to measure this. So I can copy it once and say 2x, and then I could take this and copy it over here. Now, this brick that we're going to create is going to go from the middle here to the middle here. So this will be my brick shape. So
now,
really,
are you going to need the inverse of the one you make? So you could basically make both of them right now, or are you just going to mirror?
Right.
I guess
I'm gonna double up on smarts here. I'll take this piece.
Oh, that'll be new for you.
Yeah. I barely get it right once, much less twice. I'm gonna grab these two, copy it, delete this, and then I can say edit, paste in place to get that stud on there. All right, it looks like I don't have a big, so this is one of the advantages. I know some people turn off profiles, especially when you get to a bigger model, because it does use some extra computer power to render those profiles. But it's nice when you are doing stuff like this because I can see right now this joined because I don't have that thick profile line. But I'm guessing if I spin around inside, oh no, it even joined, cut the edge, that's perfect. I'm good. So I can take this one, option, copy it this way, 8, 5x, there we go. And then I also have 3 of those, copy over here. Take that, option copy this way, 8. And then final step, I'm going to offset this 1.6 and then push it up, and I'm going to use the same inside snap point. Whoops. Apparently this is not on the same plane. Uh-oh.
Oh, man.
That's because that's one brick up in the original model. Oh, all right, let's push that up to here. There we go. And this is, I believe, this is actually dark gray. So for dark gray, I won't use my darkest gray because my darkest gray is black. I'll come over here to like a tin color. There we go. All right, now I'm gonna grab it before I make it a component. I'm gonna make a copy over here. I'm gonna use scale to inverse that to -1. All right, now I have two pieces I can make components. So the first one, I'll triple click, make component, and I will call this a angled plate dash 3x6 dash D gray.
Does your snapping point matter yet, or at any point? Like,
That
is
is
it
an
worth
excellent
setting up
question.
axis when you're doing this?
I'm gonna call this. All right, so here, this is actually, so this is a question. And there's two different ways to do it. We chose to do it one way. I never actually made left and rights of these. I just grabbed the instance and scaled it to -1. So I actually only had one of these bricks copied both ways. But in this case, I could make this a left. And then when I create this one, I could call this a right. Question, of course, is what is left and what is right? Oh, that's kind of made up. But yes, Jody's next question. Placement point. So assuming I get to the point where I want to actually drag these in from here and bring them in and put them into my model, having them on some corner is going to be essential. So when I bring this in, if I can snap it into the grid, and now I know if I have to move it forward, I can go, move it from here to here. That's going to be important. So with this one, where my snapping point's over here, I would probably want to replace that to something like this. That way, when I bring it in, again, I can just snap it right into the grid, and then I can move it corner to corner to where it actually needs to go in the drawing. So yes, that is a good question.
Everybody's wanting to make a drinking game out of reminding you to save. And I don't know if it's because they just want an excuse to drink or if they really want you to save, but everybody's taking a drink right now.
Hey, there you go. So does that mean I should say, will you enjoy the stream more if I save more or less?
Ooh, that's...
I don't know the rules.
I need to run upstairs and I need to go grab a bigger bottle.
I'm here for you guys. I'm trying to help. We'll get through this thing together. Okay, so there we go. We got some pieces in there. All right, so now we have some quarter round pieces. These pieces are actually bigger than the circle down below, so I'm not going to get a whole lot out of that existing geometry. But you see these quarter round are 4x4. Let's see, how will I do this? This is working out pretty well for me, so I'm just going to grab a copy of this 2x2 plate. I'm going to copy it once, and I'm going to copy it twice. There we go. And then I'm going to draw an arc. I want my arcs to line up with my circles, so my circles are 24 sides. So that means this quarter arc is going to be 1/4 the sides, which is going to be 6. So when I come in to draw my arc, I'm going to hit 6 to make it 6 sides. And then I'm actually going to use an arc and not a 2-point arc. 6 sides. And the way this arc works is I pick a point. Oh, actually, you know what? I can use something I never use, which is pi. I'm going to use the pi. I'm going to set my sides to 6. Here's how pi works. I pick the middle point. I pick one edge, and then I just swing the pi around. And boom. That, if I pull that down, is my 1/4 piece. No, that doesn't look right. Yes, it is. That's perfect. Have faith in yourself, man. Come on. All right, I'm going to come in here, come into this piece, copy one stud, and then get rid of all of these, just like I had before. Edit, paste in place. option copy 8, 3x. I'll grab this one, option copy 8, 3x. Grab these two, option copy 8, grab this one, option copy 8. So I think I can do one more. Is one more in there? So the reason I didn't just grab all 4 and copy them all the way across is I could do that, but that's going to break the geometry. It's going to be more work to explode, and then I'm actually going to have breaks in these geometry rather than single round pieces. All right, so I'm going to offset that 1.6, and I'm going to push that up. I guess I should just find out what this plate offset is because I keep doing it. Hey, 1.6, the depth of a stud. That makes a lot of sense. All right, so I'm going to grab that, make a new component, and I'm going to call this quarter round plate 4x4 D gray. And I do want to keep this component axis point right there. That's good. All right, so I'm going to come in here, color that with my tin. All right. So I'm going to put that into my pile of Legos on the floor. Pile of Lego. Lego is a plural, in case you guys did not know that. You can say Lego bricks or just say Lego, but Legos is not a thing.
And Lego is what you do
your
to
ego?
my ego.
Yeah, I'd get that one. All right, save. So what does that do? What does that do to the game? I don't know what happens when I hit save. Do you drink because I don't hit save, or you drink because I do hit save?
I think you might have denied them a chance to take a drink.
You guys didn't call it out quick enough. Sorry, there is a 10-second delay, so yeah, my apologies. All right.
So, oh wait, never mind. Mm-hmm. I was going to try and correct you, but then realized my correction would be incorrect, so I take it back.
Sounds good. All right. So on this one, we have one of these little vent plates, a 2x4 brick, and then a couple of clear greeny thingies, round deal things. Technical name. So let's do these 2 plates first. This one's going to be simple. This black plate, I'm just going to grab this guy right here, option copy it over, and then I'm going to take it, and I'm just going to make my component right now. This is another option. This is a way I can do it. And I'm just going to call this brick 2x4 black. So that component is a component made up of other components. So this right here is still the same as this. But inside that component container, I can select those and explode both of them. Once they're exploded, all I have to really do is get rid of these lines around this side. And then I come to the bottom, I'm just going to draw a new rectangle right here. Or no, actually I'll do it this way. This will be less geometry to clean up. Pull this through to here, and then just delete those few lines. And then of course, color that with my black color. That's an easy one. And we'll just put it into the model right now. All right, for this little vent plate, I'm going to grab this one right here, the brown one I have, and I'm going to make it unique, and I'm going to call it vent plate 1x2 L gray. You know, that's another thing I did as I was going through my original model, is my spelling, gray and gray, changed. I had some that were G-R-E-Y, some that are G-R-A-Y. Just something I remembered happened. Cowboy USA is asking about the colored pencils. This is the default color picker for Mac. It's the same as, I think it's crayons on Windows. That's all it is. It's nothing, it's not too special. I think it's special, but it's not that special.
It's not too special. It can be special without being too special. It's the right amount of special.
It's special-ish. It's a specialist. All right. I'm going to pick my light gray, fill that in, and then I'm just going to delete my studs off the top. And what this piece has, I'm going to hide the rest of the model, is it has, I believe, yeah, so this line right here is going to be broken, whoops, this line right here I'm going to divide into 5 pieces. And now at each of those 5 pieces, I'm going to draw a line all the way to the end. And now both of these are going to come down to that height. And that's all we got to do to make that bent piece. That piece, now, copy that. And again, I'm going to reiterate this because, so this way that I'm doing, I'm keeping all the pieces on the ground over here. Totally not a have to do. This is just easier for me. I kind of likened it to, you know, when you're actually building a kit and you dump all the pieces out into a pile. It's just kind of like that, where I can look over and see them and grab them. But you could actually be grabbing these out of the component browser.
So what you're doing there also is what they call knolling, where
That's
you
right.
line everything up all organized, like.
Yeah, it is.
Gives the illusion that you know what you're doing.
If nothing else, it looks like you got stuff together. Like you know what you're doing.
Oh. And I'm out.
Sorry, I apologize. Jody's supposed to be the king of the dad jokes, but I saw the opportunity and just had to just.
That's fine. You got kids. You're built. You're built for it.
All right. Last piece on here are these see-through green round 1x1s. So I'm gonna actually create these from scratch. I'm gonna start with, so they're 1x1, so they're gonna be 8x8. So I'm going to start with a circle right here, make it 4, so that's half, and then I'm going to pull that up from the ground to the height of a standard brick. And then I can come in here and put my, what was 2.4.
YouTube said he calls that little pile of stuff his junkyard, modeling junkyard.
Oh yeah,
seems apropos.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have heard it called that in the past. All right, so these guys, I'm going to offset my 1.6. Whoops, not 6.1. That would be a problem. And I will push that up to the bottom also. So that could be good enough. I would perfectly understand if somebody decided that that was the brick they were going to create, but the actual Lego brick, they do kind of offset right there, and they have a hole in the top there as well. So we're going to actually add those details. So if I save, Command S, and I take a peek right here, oh, I thought it had the offset in here, but it doesn't. Okay, well, we're going to make up our standard for that. Or actually, hold up, pull that back up. What is this material width right here? The difference from, that's going to be 0.8. That's what I'm going to say. All right, so I'm going to offset this 0.8 and then push that inside back down there. I'm going to do the same thing down here. Offset this 0.8, and then I'm going to push this up 1.6. There we go. And now the fun part, I'm going to go ahead and give it this nice tealy color, except I'm going to give it about a 50% opacity tealy color. Ooh. All right. All right, so here's the thing. If I look at this, it doesn't look very appetizing, right? I know we're not going to eat it, but you guys get what I'm talking about. So this doesn't look very good because I can see the inside. The issue that happens when you paint stuff like this is if I peek inside here, pop my head on the inside, look at this material from the inside. Inside, it's still got the standard back face. So the back side is still that grayish color. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select all, bring my paint bucket back up, use that same color, and paint the inside as well as the outside that same see-through color. Gives me a much better, it gives me a geometry that I can see through all the way rather than having the inside be solid. All right, and I'll grab that. I will make that into a new component. And I'm gonna call this a round brick, 1x1, clear teal. I get a kick out of the fact that I have a naming convention that is total silliness.
It feels like one of those, this is one of those things where everybody's got different names for whatever their parts are.
Yeah. It's funny because do you guys? We're talking about Lego here, so well, hold up. Let me put this in place, and then I'll talk about things. So one of the big problems that I had with these bricks was the fact that there is no like actual. There's nothing to click to. So one of the things I ended up doing when I was placing these was doing things like, all right, I'll grab the corner right here. And then when I bring it over here to where it's supposed to go, I can align it to the top of that stud maybe, like that, and then come over and push it down, which is kind of a pain. Not a good way to do it. I created this in 2019. 2019, that was the best I could do. I could maybe get lucky and put the placement point at the offsetting corners. The nice thing is that in 2020, I can actually use the corners of the outside box, just grab it from here and move it straight over and it'll align. That's pretty cool. That is a very nice practical usage of that new functionality, is placing round bricks.
It's one of those things I didn't think I wanted until I had it.
All right, let's see. What should I do with my model now?
Dramatic pause.
10-second delay in streaming to comments, and right about now.
Ready? Nobody knows.
Starts with an S, and
Kai should really be the one, because he seems to be the one most ambitiously pursuing.
Steve's got it. All right, that's close enough. Command S. All right, so I was saying, it's interesting how often Lego has come up during this whole that Lego has come up during this quarantine, stay-at-home, shelter-in-place, whatever you want to call it thing. Because I personally went out and bought a bunch of Lego kits for my family to work on. I had an old kit that was a Millennium Falcon kit. It's not the big one, not the one I modeled, but it's about this. It's like 13 inches. I actually had it taken apart in a box, and I went and put that together at the beginning of quarantine. We also just watched the end of the TV show Lego Masters. I don't know if you guys watched that, but that was fun. A reality competition show with Will Arnett as the host, so that was a good time.
It's all great until it starts getting dramatic. I think I watched like the first couple, and in the very second one, some guy was like, they're building their own cities or something.
Yeah.
And as they went to put it up take it up to the front, it just went and crashed to the ground. I almost started crying. I think he did start crying.
He did, yeah.
Which is fine. Crying is fine.
That's right. You can be manly and still cry, I guess. I've heard. I never do. Anyhow, not that I've ever considered myself a standard for manliness in any way, shape, or form. All right, let's get back to these building toys. All right, so that's that step done. All right, so now, new piece. So we have one of these side pieces, have a little stud out the side, and another clear green, tealy colored thing. I don't know what any of these things are called, but they do actually have names, I've heard. All right, so I'm going to start with uh, the standard stud. So I'm going to come in here and do an 8 by 8 piece. I'm going to push pull that up. I'm going to create a circle on the top. So I'm going to reference off the midpoint, boom, pull that out to 2.4, push that up. So even when I'm creating the same geometry from scratch, you can see it still goes pretty quick. It's not like so a lot of people asked, did you have a like an image that you used or a grid or something like that? And I never really did because you're using the same dimensions again and again. It really wasn't too hard to just get used to them and either inference off of other models or other pieces, or like that, just
Yeah, someone commented earlier. I don't remember who it was. This seems like the perfect thing for making a dynamic component out of.
So I did get hit by that a lot. So I'm gonna save this as a brick, just as this is one shape that I don't have in my standard white bricks over here. And then I'm also going to copy that and make a 1x1 plate real quick. And then I'll address that question.
The white ones you're making are all just untyped.
Yeah,
they're not necessarily used. You're just making them as a baseline.
And that's kind of what I did. I didn't ever there were some bricks in there that I never used, and that's exactly what they were. They were just there to create that initial geometry to use as templates for others. So I think there's other 1x1 plates like this. So I want to make one that I can use. So right now I could grab both of these, copy them over here, and then make both unique. And then I can call this one I'll call it a side brick 1x1, and that's going to be L gray. And then this one, I'll keep it as a plate 1x1, but I'll call it clear teal, I think I called it last time. And then I can come in here. This will be the easy one. Fill it with this color. And then this one, I got a little more work to do, but I'll do this real quick while I'm in here. I was saying something about something. I don't remember what it was.
And I think it was pretty profound.
It was,
so, wow.
It was, I would say borderline amazing, but that's just me talking. Oh, dynamic components. So yes, you could probably make a series of dynamic components out of these bricks. My question with that would be how many pieces you would make and then how much it would help you. What I mean by that is, do I make one dynamic component that is this plate, and that plate is, I can make it this way or this way deep, however many times you want, and then make in that dynamic component have user attributes for width, depth, and then color, and just make it that way. That would be kind of cool. Same thing, I could do the same thing for bricks, or I could actually make that in one dynamic component where I have a short brick and a tall brick as a checkbox, and then width, depth, color. So I could start to do that. But as soon as you get into anything that falls outside of that, this right here, for example, there's only 3 different sizes of circles, so I would not spend the time creating a dynamic component to make that geometry necessarily. The other thing is creating dynamic components to offset these faces means I'd have to make those faces separate pieces that I could push around. So yeah, it got to a point where it was going to be more work for me to create the dynamic component than I would have saved in just redrawing it, or at least for me to figure out. You guys know I've showed you guys some dynamic components, and I professed I'm not the best there is at dynamic components by any means. So there's this point of lost return on creating dynamic components.
Diminishing.
Yeah.
Diminishing returns.
Diminishing returns. They diminished quickly. And the other thing was, when I did the original the Falcon, I did it for fun because I wanted to do it. And having to go through and figure that stuff out would have kind of killed killed some of the fun for me.
Yeah, I get that. Manos has asked this a couple times actually, and I wasn't quite sure what he meant first time, but I think I just understood finally. So do you have a shortcut you're hitting that you pop up your color palette? You're hiding your
Just paint bucket.
your windows? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I have I just use the default shortcut, which is B, and yeah,
bucket.
every time I need that, I just push B.
It feels like there would be a very useful feature in SketchUp to be able to save a component to a shortcut. So then say you just hit, Command F, and then it pastes this guy or something.
I can see that.
I'm not quite sure what that'd look like, but.
All right, so I got a thing going on right now. My insides and my outsides.
Saeed said it's not.
This is the original one. So when I pulled it out, I first made it unique.
Okay.
The issue I'm running into right now, wrong thing, is as I put that in, I don't think it goes all the way in this far. And this is where I talked about this a little bit. Let's see what happens if I bring this out 0.8. All right.
I feel like I want to go grab some Legos just to see what this looks like in real life.
Yeah.
Manos, I think he said he hits B for the paint bucket tool, and every time he opens the paint bucket, it automatically opens the picker.
When you said picker, it kind of sounded like you had an E in there instead of a I, just saying.
A peeker?
Close.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's more how it goes, because if I go all the way back 1.6, then my insides and my outsides start running into one another.
And nobody wants that. Keep your insides on the inside.
That's right. I'll have to check it. I have a couple Legos laying around inside. I'll check that afterwards. But I think for our purposes anyhow, that'll work. So this is one of the things is I did not, there are sites where people have taken their calipers and gotten very exact measurements for all this stuff. I did not go to those sites. I was not that concerned with it. I was doing this for, like I said, for fun. But there's a couple pieces where I kind of assumed geometry or assumed dimensions, and then afterwards they cause problems. There's a ripple effect where eventually an incorrect dimension causes an issue. I'm not too worried about it in this one. If this is just slightly off, it means pushing this stud this way, 0.8 or possibly 0.4 millimeters back and forth. I think it's going to be okay. The important part is this stud lines up on grid, and the rest of this block is on grid with the rest of the pieces. So I think we'll be okay there. All right. I wonder if I should come up with a standard where every time I do an Alt-Tab back to look at directions, I should save. Thank you. I just had coffee delivered by my wonderful wife. This is one of the perks of working at home.
Here's another perk, is I just ran out to the garage and grabbed this. Does anybody recognize this sound?
Okay, I don't know. I guess I should ask. Is anybody else out there like enjoy Legos? I mean, I'm just sort of assuming that you're here and you like that, but I found at the very beginning, right, when we first got sent home and we were told we were working from home, I found that that's why I said I have this kit. It was the Force Awakens Millennium Falcon. It's like 1,000 pieces or something like that, and I had it taken apart in a shoebox. And I was sitting on the couch. It was early in the morning. Kids were still asleep, and I started putting it together. And I just found it was almost like therapeutic. That sound of dragging my fingers through and the feeling of the plastic. I'm like, oh, I got a lot of good thinking and felt a lot of peace then. So I think
So
it's good stuff.
my wife did not grow up doing Legos. Um, and so whenever I'm making all that racket,
Hmm.
huh, she's just like, could you do that in the other room?
Ah, it's good stuff. All right, so I'm gonna take this little round guy here, and I'm gonna make him into. I'm gonna call it a cone because it tapers, and it's clear red. And all I'm gonna do for this, I'm gonna try to keep this simple, is if I can come in here and grab just the outside right here like that, I'm gonna scale that about the middle so it comes in. It doesn't come all the way in and touch, but it comes in something like that. And that's my default cone shape. So I'm gonna grab red with that. I'm gonna go to 50% again, and I'm gonna select all. And let me check inside and make sure that works, because I have a feeling once I poke my head through, my back sides are still green, so I'm gonna paint those red too. Awesome. That looks pretty good. I haven't been checking solids either, but let's yeah. I think we're
Your
good. I think we're
backsides
good
are
at solids.
green. That
They were.
sounds that's a horrible starting point.
That's a reason to call a doctor right there.
Yeah.
That's not COVID, but you'd want to get that checked. All right.
You're gonna want to check that out.
Yeah. I'm gonna grab that. this background this background modeling sound of Legos being sorted through.
I'm just trying to find that darn piece.
All right. So here's something else that that this did a lot. I like I said, somebody mentioned that all the Lego plans are available on their site, so you can go download a PDF of any set of instructions you want. The cool thing about using it with SketchUp is it forces you to do a whole lot of develop a lot of modeling practices. So here's one specifically. So this one right here, so I have, again, a round piece, don't have a corner to grab onto. I need this to copy. Is this even in the right place? Hold up. Yes. So this goes right here on this side. So rather than grab it by a piece of that geometry, I can use reference geometry. So these two bricks are the same, so I can actually grab it from the corner of this brick option and copy it right over to the corner of this brick. So not to actually use geometry of the piece I'm copying, I can use geometry from around there. So that's what ends up happening. I ended up doing a lot of was using center of studs as placement points also, because I know the center of stud is on that 8-foot grid or 8-meter grid as well. So there's something else to keep in mind. I also just remembered this piece right here actually let's get rid of that, has a square on the back that is the same size as a stud. So if I bring this straight back like this, I'm just gonna bring a line right back, I can actually create a square that is 4.8.
Okay, so
Are you measuring with calipers right now?
no, my calipers are in my shop, and I'm not
Okay.
there. But I can't find that stupid this piece in my box here. So I have like this thing is like a meter long by a half meter wide. My little bin that I've got, and it's
Are you
basically all
saying
of
meter because we're drawing in millimeters?
maybe I don't know. Yeah, so it's like 3.5 feet long and a foot and a half wide, and it's all like my partially completed Lego kits that have either I've built, my kids have built, whoever. It's just a mess. But then, so my question is this: to the people that are the Lego people, has anybody gone out and invested in drawers and color sorted or part sorted or any of that stuff? Because I've got 9 drawers somewhere else of all these different colors.
You know, when my son was really into Lego for years and years, we had plastic bins for him, and he would have them like set out. He was opposed to sorting of any kind, but yeah, he did have a lot of those.
Yeah, I do not. I'm not. I'll sort, but I will not use Craggle.
Yeah, I've seen some Lego enthusiasts get borderline angry about the possibility of that being used. All right, I'm going to take this and I'm going to make it unique, and I'm going to call it a brick 1x1 L gray, but it's not just a brick, it's a brick with handle. This is a weird piece. I've never seen this one before, actually. So what it looks like we got here, we have this little handle. This handle is actually a standard size. It's whatever I put right here. So we'll use that as a standard for comparison. And it looks like it just sticks out the side, and it's the same height as a regular brick. So we'll do that. What size did I use here for this? 2.4. All right, so I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna drop a line straight down. At the middle, I'm gonna go 1.2. And I'm just gonna make a square. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put a square here. I'm gonna drop that same square down. I'm gonna take that square across. I'm gonna do that. What I don't know and what I can't tell from here is how far they come out. So,
Sebastian thinks that I'm sitting on the floor right now, putting together a kit.
I like about 1.6, and then I'm going to draw a 2.4 circle. And these were the kind of pieces where I didn't know exactly if what I was doing was right or not, but it didn't always matter. And the nice thing is, because they're components, regardless of how many times I use them, it was never too hard to come back and modify them afterwards, you know. So all I'm doing is I'm just drawing a line out to that hidden geometry, and then I'll draw a line straight across like this. I'll draw a line straight across like this. It's funny because these pieces like this, the little greebly pieces, ended up sometimes being greeblies.
Okay. Is that a thing?
Okay, I'll come back to greeblies in just a second. We're gonna throw down some knowledge on some people right now. All right. I'm gonna intersect that with selection, and then I'm just gonna use Solid Inspector to clean out the inside faces. And then I will Alt erase. There we go. And then I'm going to grab all of that and color it. At this point, I might have most of my colors in my current palette, so I can come grab my light gray from here. I'm going to do something else. I am going to remove Laura from my model. Bye, Laura. And save it. Save. And then go to Model Info and Statistics and Purge Unused. That'll remove Laura, but more importantly, it'll remove all the colors that were in Laura. So I'm back now to just the pieces, just the colors that are in my model. A greebly is a term, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I heard, is it was a term that was coined by George Lucas when he was making the original, the Holy Trilogy, as he had props guys making spaceships and stuff. They would kit bash, right? They would use plastic and cardboard and whatever they had to make the shells of these ships, and then they would use pieces of plastic model kits off the shelf and stick them on there to make all these chunks and tubes and stuff like that. And he used the term greebly to just kind of mention, you know, those things on there, those greeblies. And it kind of stuck, and it's kind of a standard term now.
So the Google is saying it's a greeble, not a greebly.
Oh, that could be.
It's even got the little.
I would believe that.
Probably. Andy pointed out that Adam Savage, who used to work at
ILM,
uses it to refer to stuff added onto his models. So
yes, and that's exactly the same thing. That's where Adam got it from. Was from Star Wars as well. That's my understanding. I
All
will.
right.
I will. I was not there. I was.
Well, I'm
I was. I
not.
was very young at the time. Like very. So yeah. Anyhow, so this piece needs to copy over here. I could go through some processes to come up with a mirroring plane, but here's what I would do to place this is I would move it by this point right here, make a copy, and I'd place it, boom, right there over this brick. Then, after you place it or make a modification tool, the piece you modified is still selected. So now I'd go immediately into rotate and then grab this piece and rotate it 180 degrees. I love the move, rotate, copy, switching between those two. I do it all the time to work with components like this. All right, that seems like a good place to take a break and take a sip of my coffee and save. All right, moving our way through this building.
So, I'm curious about the drinking more coffee because your comment as we started all this was that you might be over caffeinated.
I was a little twitchy this morning. I feel okay now. All right, but speaking of which, I got to get it going. We're an hour and 20 minutes in. I'm only on step 9. All right, so this time I have to make this L-shaped piece and just a regular 2x2 brick. That's an easy one. I'll just copy it, make unique, L gray. Oops. And then I have a plate that is 4x4 L kind of thingy. Same thing.
You did save when you drank that coffee, right?
I did.
Okay.
I'll do this, and I'm the same thing. I'm gonna grab all these, make them one component. I'm gonna call it L plate, 4x4 D gray. And then the same thing as I did before when I welded pieces together. I'm gonna come in here, explode them all, erase my extra lines, and then just clean up the bottoms. So something to note too, how much work you want to do on the bottoms of the plates. Like I talked about, I'm already skipping over some of the I don't know what you call them, understuds. That's probably not what they're called at all.
Greebles, probably.
But you could, I mean, it would be perfectly acceptable to just leave the bottoms flat. You don't have to put these indentations in at all, as long as everything aligns on the top. So, I mean, just to point out, that could be an option. You could actually do that.
Yeah, it's going to also make it a little less heavy.
It will definitely, yeah, free up some model weight. All right. Now we're going through that. That step went quick.
YouTube said understuds. I think it's good.
I like it. I think that is a great.
Or an anti-stud.
An anti-stud would be an inward, a cavity, right?
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna come in here. Same thing. I'll grab both of these, make them into a group, a component, excuse me. And I'll call this a plate dash 1x4 dash L gray.
And you probably lose a lot of time just typing in the new names each time you make a component.
Yeah, and realistically, I'm doing that because it is a best practice. It would not be ridiculous for me in this particular model to just group each of these and go. But I'm trying to show you guys good stuff, good practices, so it's your fault.
That's fine, it's fine.
It's all your fault. Oh, sorry. What else I gotta do? Oh. All right, So this is going quicker, and this is realistically this is how it went. Was when I was doing this thing, I already forgot what color that was. So I have a dark gray and then another cone. So I'm gonna make unique, call it D gray. Put that on there. When I was doing the big Falcon over months and months and months, it would eventually, I'd kind of let it taper off. I'd stop working on it for a day or two. I'd get back into it, and then eventually I'd just start hitting these harder to model pieces, and that would be like my entire modeling session would be creating these 3 weird pieces that interconnected at angles or side build stuff, and it would slow me down. Next one would be just copying and maybe recoloring, something like that. So it's kind of a flow like this. Speaking of new pieces, we have this thing. So I do remember
you're being
this.
called out. One of your pieces is wrong. Is one of your pieces wrong?
You want? Let's go. What's your problem?
I'm not seeing. Everything's looking okay to me. I think we're good.
Hey, if I get things wrong all the time. I'm really good at it. So if you guys see something wrong, please let me know. I'll make this unique, and I'm gonna call it a.
I'm confused by that brown piece in front of the one you just put down. It shouldn't be there.
Isn't it? Hold up.
Yeah, both of those brown pieces. I don't see
Well,
what
this
you're
will
doing
be
there.
great. This will turn gray in a second. But this brown piece is not
No.
there. Yeah, it's supposed to. It's in the wrong spot. Yeah. Yes, this.
That piece should not be there. Or you turn. Oh, you're going to put it around the corner.
Sorry, it should have been here. I put it in the wrong spot. That should have been there.
Okay.
And then this piece, which is going to turn gray, which I'll do right now, should be on top of that. Whew. Everything's cool. Everything's cool. All right. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to grab all this geometry, copy it over here. I'm going to turn it sideways. I'm going to push this back to here to its thinnest point. And then I'm going to grab all of that. Put it right like that. And then finally, offset this 0.8 and push them both back to here, to here. There we go. Now we have that piece. All right, another page down. Now we have basically that same thing, but the opposite, because. All right, so to do that one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab this piece, option copy it straight up and make it unique. And I'm going to call that a side plate up 1x2 D gray. You guys can see this is how it all started to fall apart.
This is the beginning of the end.
This is the naming convention. I'm not even that many pieces in, and I'm having to make up new ideas of what these things are called.
So we just lost Kai briefly because apparently NASA is trying to one up. Well, not NASA. SpaceX is trying to one up us by having a launch right now.
Yeah, like that's never happened before.
Real spaceships.
Okay, whatever. I guess that's cool. If that's what you want to
Fake.
do.
I'm all about fake spaceships.
That's right. Okay, SpaceX is pretty cool.
Okay, fine.
All right, there we go. And I did not actually make either one of these. I didn't make a copy for my my bed over here, my pile. So I'm going to grab one of those and just copy one of each of those over here. All right. Command S.
Dave said he stepped out to cut some dovetails and came back and we're already almost done.
Well, we're on step 12 of more than 12. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I felt like that was a positive thing to say, Dave, so I appreciate that.
So step 27 is loading the little rocket things into the little launcher. And I don't feel like we're going to do that.
That sounds
So we're halfway
violent.
there.
I'm opposed to that.
Yeah.
All right, so these little ramp things caused me a lot of headache. I don't know why, but these ones particular, I'm not even sure, like I said, why this was so difficult, but it just caused me a lot of pain. So what happens with these is, I believe this is how they work. I'll push this up 1.6. I think they go from 2 bricks high to, or 2 plates high to half a plate high. So I think 1.6, that this is the profile of this little ramp brick. I believe that is correct.
That looks, at a glance,
Anybody has
legit.
their Legos out and can check. I'd love to
I
hear.
have Legos. Let me just go sort through them and try and find it.
Well, that is the only thing it's missing, is that ambient digging sound. One of the other things, so this is another detail I didn't put on, is any brick that doesn't have a stud on the top actually has a little tiny lip right here. So, and it's small. I mean, it's very, very, very tiny. Like it's just big enough to get another piece underneath there to wedge it off. So that's another piece that I neglected. But it's an interesting fact about Legos. If you don't have a stud on top to use a brick separator to separate, you'll actually get a little tiny bit of a crevice there. You can stick a thing in there to pry. So all about learning on this channel. All right. Ooh, this is my favorite kind of step.
Apply a different color to an existing piece.
No, it's even easier. I just take 2 existing pieces. This is where Option, copy it vertically to there. One of the few times that the digital building process is actually quicker and easier than the real life one.
And now you have to make this weird wonky piece that's...
Yeah, this is a stupid, or I mean, this is a corner cutting opportunity is what this is.
I can't really make out any details on that because of the low res imagery you got here.
Yeah, I noticed that the newer PDFs seem to be a little higher resolution than some of the more classic ones. This is from what did it say? What year is this?
I don't know.
Was it the 1900s? Back in the 1900s?
Star Wars, they didn't start making Star Wars Legos until after 2000.
Okay. All right. So this...
Have you saved lately? 2014 is the copyright on this one.
Okay. All right. So this thing. So we have a pretty good set of dimensions here. So we know that this is on a 2x2 plate, which is flush with this. And then these little vent things come out, and they're the same height as this gray plate, dark gray plate right here. I'm assuming they come out the width of 1 brick. So those are the assumptions I'm going to operate under. I'm going to take a copy of this piece right here, Option copy it, and drop it right there. I'm going to make unique. And I'm going to call this thingy. It's about 2 by 4 wide, and it is El Gray. Yeah, so let's flesh out this thingy. So I have a problem. I do this a lot. As soon as you finish typing into the entity info, you need to hit enter. I don't do it, and then I hit a shortcut key, and that shortcut key overwrites everything I've just typed. So do make sure that you hit enter and then click out of this box before you start modifying your next thing. All right, I'm going to create my geometry separate from the actual component, and I'll show you guys why. So I'm going to bring this up like this. I'm going to draw some, bring that over to the center, drop it down and across. So that, and then I'll drop back up. So that rectangle is kind of the profile of my vent. And then it does kind of do something more like this, and then this kind of comes down like that. So I'm going to say that that is the profile of that upper, or that vent shape. And I'll pull that across like this. And then I'm going to come in here and offset this. I'm going to offset it 0.8 because that is a standard geometry. I'm trying not to use extensions on this, so this would be a spot where I could use something like joint push pull. Instead, I'm just going to do a vertical copy. I'm going to bring it down 1.6, again because standards. And then I'm just going to stitch it up manually. Like I said, if I was using extensions, I would probably just use joint push pull to do a vertical vector push pull. Since I'm not, I got that. All right, and then if we look at this vent, it looks like it has 1, 2, 3 maybe divisions in there. So I'm going to take this.
Ooh.
Music just started. I'm not sure how I did that. I must have hit a shortcut key. All right, let's quit that. All right, let's try that again. Divide this piece into 3. No, I'll divide it into a total of 4.
I'm kind of curious about what that music was, because it sort of sounded like French jazz or something from over here. I don't know.
It wasn't. It was something that I can't actually use or distribute because I don't have the rights. So we're just going to pretend it.
Oh man, this whole video get yanked down if you're not careful.
Yeah, that's why I tried to talk over it as best I could, so maybe nobody will recognize what it was. All right, I'm going to take this and I'm going to option push pull it over, we'll say 0.4. And I'll go this way too. 0.4. All right, there we go. So good enough. I will know exactly what piece this is if I were ever to see it walking down the street. If I see this piece walking down the street, I got other issues. All right, I'm going to grab all of that then, and we're going to use rotate to find the center of this square right here. Bring it around like that. And now I will grab, oops, extra line there. Grab all that, Command X to cut, go in context and edit, paste in place. Then for a little cleanup, I'm just going to hide the rest of the model and then
fix that reverse face.
Yeah. Maybe I'll check solids on that because I might have some internal faces. Awesome. And then finally, I will color that light gray. All right.
So now, what did you
enough.
name that thing?
Thingy.
Angle. Okay. All right. Vent greebles is what Steve
I saw that
suggested.
recommendation, but I had already committed to thingy by that point. I like your idea better. All right, we are getting through this. Keep my knolling in order over here. Oh, it's terrible. It's all so unevenly spaced. All right, Command S. Speaking of Adam Savage is a big fan of knolling as well. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, he does. So I went and I shared a link to the subreddit for knolling
Mm-hmm.
whenever we were talking about that earlier. And as I'm looking at the hot knolls that people have posted up there, the second and third one on the list are both Legos.
Hot knolling.
And so,
Ooh.
yeah, it's so hot. It's so hot right now. No, on Reddit, everything gets sorted by either what's new or what's hot, meaning
No,
people
I know.
are
It was just,
commenting on.
let me go check out some hot knolling tonight.
Oh, this knolling so hot.
The hottest knolling I've ever seen.
But yeah, if you like to see things organized neatly, that's a place to go, man. It's its own level of entertainment.
I think that's one of those things that I appreciate the idea of, but I myself am just not an organized enough person to really do that. You know, the time it takes to go through and lay things out, I want to be done with whatever I'm laying it out for.
So there's some times that it works good for me to take the time to organize it. Like if I know I'm going to need to come back to it, I may put my tools back where they belong after a project, or sometimes in the middle of a project.
That's something I'm still working on. I got more of a hopefully I'll set aside time next weekend and pick up after myself kind of mentality.
I have to do it because it makes the whole project a little more zen, a little more meditative for me.
Yeah, I should probably do that. That does seem like a better way to do it. So maybe that'll be one of my final steps here is to knoll this thing up proper.
New Year's resolution. Sebastian asked the question of what kind of music we listen to. I don't know about you, but that's a hard one to answer.
Because you don't know what it's called?
Exactly. It's literally in a language that doesn't exist. It is a trick question, though. It actually reminds me of there's a scene in Scott Pilgrim where they come in and they meet young Neil, and Knives Chow says, "What kind of games do you play?" And he pauses and he says like, "Oh wow, that's a tough question." And he starts kind of trying to come up with answers for that, and that's how I feel. I'm like, I listen to everything. I don't even know if I've got a top 3 favorite bands.
Wow.
There's not any French jazz in there though, so I can at least confirm that.
That's good. That's probably something if you're into French jazz, you're in your own spot.
You're in your own space, yeah. I tend to. It really depends on what I'm listening to. Like if I'm working from home or I'm working wherever and I'm trying to get some done, then I'll listen to EDM that doesn't have lyrics, so that then I don't get distracted by the words. But I think this morning I was listening to Fall Out Boy while I was making my coffee.
These are all.
Or when you said something about being better earlier, it made me think of. So there's this band, the Decemberists, and they have a song called "Love You Better." I think it's what it is, or "Make You Better," something like that. But their video is great because it's got Nick Offerman in it, and he's affecting this not a very good German accent. It's a pretty great video. If you like the Decemberists, you should go watch the video for whatever the name of that song is.
Would you watch it if you just like Nick Offerman? Because that's where I'm at.
So it is worth watching just to watch him do it. Yeah.
That reminds me of I don't. It's not a band I like very much, but Mumford and Sons had that video where they had a bunch of comedic actors playing them.
Yeah.
I thought that was just genius.
Yeah, this one's pretty good. Okay, it's "Make You Better," and it's pretty awesome. It's good because fake German Nick Offerman keeps saying "butter" instead of "better," And so he thinks the song is "Make You Butter." It just cracks me up just to think about.
He's good. All right. So back to modeling. Just for a
Sorry.
second, we can go back. We can go back to that in a moment. So this whole array right here. Actually, I did that a little too early. So this array. So I have, this is my bottom hinge piece, and then a 2x3, and then these two decorative pieces on top. They all come and they angle down together. So what I want to do is I want to get them modeled as separate pieces, group them together, and then rotate them all at once. The last piece that I'm missing right now is this piece right here, which has to drop into this hinge. So if I come in here and edit this, I can say, I can come right here, create a circle at this point, and that is my hinge dowel, I guess we could call it. And then here, I'm gonna draw a line right here. I said this is where I'm gonna cut a little bit of corners. This won't look exactly like the piece, but it'll be enough to show what I'm doing here. What is it you'd say you do here? All right. And then
I talk to the engineers so that the customers, so the engineers don't have to.
That's right. What's wrong with you people? Oh, so good. Still one of my favorite movies of all time. So that's Office Space, in case you guys haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, I recommend adding it to your quarantine viewing list.
Watch list.
Watch
Yeah,
list.
Steve, who I believe might be listening in at home, Mr. Guzman had posted that exact question, well, similar to Sebastian's question, whereas your 3 favorite movies. And I'm in the same boat. I don't know if I've got 3 favorite, but when I consider the movies that I have purchased, and like in the different platforms, I bought Office Space on DVD and also on Blu-ray, and I probably had on VHS.
That's up
Same
there.
thing with
And I think
Princess.
most people who have worked in an office at some point in their life probably have an appreciation for that.
There's a lot that's pretty relatable there.
Yeah. All right, so that's what I'm just going to do that for now. That's kind of the level of detail I feel good with. Then I'm going to grab all of these and make them into a group. And then I'm going to rotate by the middle of this hinge. And I'm going to grab this corner right here and bring it down to right there.
Boom.
And that gets me that little tilty front piece. Let's see how that lines up. That'll work. Cool.
Based on all the anti-aliasing happening there, or aliasing in this case. Yeah,
the pro aliasing. All right, moving on. We're pounding through this thing. All right, this piece has to go over here, a copy of it. So I'm going to grab it. Option copy. Straight across. Boom. Copy of this guy right here. Grab it by that corner. Drop that right onto. Oh, that X-ray thing is so much easier too. That 2020 X-ray, so cool.
Yeah, the way it's looking based on the translated version I'm getting, thanks to lag or what have you, give a really fun, blurry ghost kind of image as you moved it around.
Yeah, it looks better here, but you can only do what you can do, you know. All right, moving on. Boom. We are officially more than halfway through at this point, I believe.
Yeah.
All right. Keep at it. Keep going. Keep
All
going.
we need is a couple more of those. All we need is a couple more of those steps where you literally just copy and paste.
there's some coming. Let's go quick. All right. So here we have a 2x3 angled brick, not a plate, but a brick. So same thing. I'm gonna grab this one right here, and I'm gonna copy it. And I'm going to rename it, make it unique, and call it an angled brick 2x3 El Gray. Yeah, you know, actually, now that you've mentioned, shoot. I did it again. Angled. Oh boy. Angled brick
Oh
2
boy.
by 3 L gray. Oh boy. It's all falling apart. Typing is just, oh. All right. So I'm going to come in here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color this all gray. I'm going to get rid of these 2 pieces because it's only 3. And then I'm going to come to the bottom and I'm going to bring this down and make it solid. I can take this edge, put it back 8. I can get rid of all the studs along one side, and I can draw a line from this corner to that middle piece and push it down. Then I'll come back to the bottom, offset that 1.6 again, and I can push that up. Oh, I'll turn everything else off. There we go. And there we go.
Nice.
And now, again, same thing I was talking about before. I could make a left and a right, which I did that with these pieces right here. This one I'm not going to. I'll show you what I did. This is actually what I did on the big Falcon build. Which is not to say this is the way to do it. This is the way I did it. I'll take that.
It is a way to do it, at the very least.
This is an option. Oh, wait, are those set back? They are. So that is actually set back. This is another thing is a lot of times I didn't even use reference geometry, just dimensions. I'm going to put that back 8. Boom. There we go. A lot of booming happening, I know. Now I'm going to go Option and copy it over, staying on the red axis until I hit this other face. And now I'll hit Scale and grab the proper handle and scale that to a -1. Now, this is still the exact same component. I did not go in and scale the geometry on the inside, which would have affected all of them. Instead, all I did was I scaled the container on the outside and flipped it. So it's still the exact same thing. So if I was to ever have to come in here and make a change, it would still affect that flipped geometry. So it's an option. It's a way to keep your component count down, but it's not a way, like I said, you have an option. You do it this way, create the multiple pieces, or create one and copy it over. All right, I'm gonna hit Command S. And then,
oh yeah, the rest of these pieces you already made.
Yeah, this is easy. Check this out. So I got, oh, I don't have a little round stud. Ah, so close. All right, this one I got.
Well, oh, I thought we made one. I guess.
I thought so too. But I guess not yet. I guess I shouldn't
We
complain.
made a square one.
We are here to make models, so. One of the things that's very, very satisfying about doing these kits too, like I said, it is an awesome way to learn SketchUp and just keep going with SketchUp. But one of the cool things is because everything's the same size, you grab 2 pieces that were made totally separately and look at everything just lines up perfect. I love it. It's so nice. All right. I'm going to use this guy right here. I'm going to make a copy. Bring it over here. And I'm going to come in here, grab, hope, didn't make unique.
Ooh. Dodged a bullet.
So this is a round plate, 1x1 clear. Enter, click out. All right, getting better. All right, I'm gonna grab all this geometry, move it vertically down to here. And then, so I just use this plate as a reference for the top height. Then select all this, and I can fill that with, let's do a new color, a white color that will do 50% also. Outside, and you can see it much easier here. See that teal tint? That's that inside showing through the 50% opacity of the exterior. So I'm going to go again, peek inside, Command A, and fill that with the same 50% clear. Awesome. All right. we're going to take that, copy, come over here. This is actually kind of an assembly. I probably could have slapped this on here first and then copied it over, but I didn't. So I'm going to use inside move. I'm going to rotate that and then use the container to put it right there.
I don't think that has a hole in it. Oh, does it? I don't know.
Should.
I don't think it does.
It better.
Okay.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. I got one of these pieces right here. Option copy. I believe this sits right there. And then I have one of these fellas right here. Option and move straight up, except it's in a different color. So here's one of the things that we were talking about. I did not just color, I colored the actual material on the inside, the geometry, and not the container. That was intentional. That is how I chose to do it. So that means when I have a situation like this, what I have to do is make a copy of it. No, actually, make it unique. Angled plate left and change this from a D gray to an L gray. And then fill that with my light gray color. So I did have to make that into a brand new piece, which I'll come over here and drop on the floor by my other plates.
Hey, have you created any videos about like setting up a SketchUp file for 3D printing?
Nothing specific. We talked about doing that a couple times, but we've never really gotten into like a series or anything like that of major information. No. Is that something somebody wants to someone somewhere wants to see? I assume.
Yeah, Saeed was making that request, like a workflow for preparing a model to 3D print.
It's something we've done organically on live streams and in other videos, but no, nothing specific to a like a skill builder or anything like that yet. All right, so I copied this over. This plate's actually only going to be this 2x3 section. So I just copied it over, and then again, I will make unique, and then angled plate. It's now a right, and I could call it 2x3, light gray. And now I can come in, double click, get rid of my studs. I always get rid of these studs first, get a nice flat surface to work on. And then let's actually pull this down. This is the easiest way I found to do this, by the way, is get rid of all that first and then just put it back in afterwards. All right, so this is going to be 24 meters down. I guess it just be the midpoint. No math needed. Oh, I tricked myself and made myself do math. Capable, I just don't like it. All right, go. Just for the hot knowingness, copy that over there, and I'll save. Looking pretty sweet. All right, got a new piece here, a circle. Got a bunch of these things going around here. All right, let's see how much of that I can remember. One there, one there, one there.
We only got 6 steps to go. Well, and then you got to model Han Solo, and that's going to be a little tricky.
That's the way I plan to do it to be real easy.
I commented to the group, and nobody acknowledged it, so apparently nobody's that eager to do it. That would be a great extra credit project for someone at home.
We did actually. Didn't we do a minifig at one point, you guys? Who remembers that? did we do it on the guy who designed the original minifigure passed away, and I think to honor him, we actually did a quick model of him. Wait,
Was it just a one-off during a session, or?
Yeah, we just right at the beginning of the session, we had the original patent drawings, and I don't remember what else I don't remember what the rest of the session was, but we had the original patent drawings and made a model based on that.
Yeah, get a quick scan. I do not see such thing.
Yeah, it wasn't the main part. I don't know if anybody else remembers when we did that.
Dave said it was not that long ago, but that's as much as we got. I hate to say it, but when you're picking through your parts, it's really, really too quiet.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking. It hurts everybody. Everybody's hurting.
You need to be rifling through that.
I know. I did see the question came up about a 3D mouse too, and I'm pretty sure that's a.
It's come up several times, but
that's part of the game, right?
Yeah, it should be. No, I've posted a link to that, I think 6 times now.
All
right. But actually, so Kai had a good idea, and I think I don't know if there's enough to do a whole project, but Kai was saying we should have a session on helper apps that are not SketchUp that you use. But that could be a good one where you go over apps that you use that are not SketchUp, and you go over hardware that you use that is maybe non-standard.
Sure, we've had several questions asking about our setup for live streams and that kind of stuff, and it always kind of falls outside of what we actually do here, but we could probably get an okay to do a video or a stream showing kind of how we have stuff set up and what we use, as well as stuff outside of just the main SketchUp pieces. Oh, I got a circle.
Well, so Kai was referencing he uses PicRep to store his images.
PicRep?
But anything, yeah, which I'm not familiar with.
What that is.
It's an application.
Thanks, buddy. All right, so I have a circle here. I'm aligning it to the size of 2 bricks, so that's what this is right here. So there's my circle, and then I pulled it out the depth of a stud plus the depth of the piece, so that gives me 1.6 or 3.2, and then I will go ahead and grab that, make it a new component. I'm going to call it a flat plate round 2x2 L gray. Now I can come in here and I can color it, and then I will also, while I'm in here, offset this 1.6 and then push this in 1.6. All right, so here's something else.
Is there a sticker kit for that?
Yeah, you know what? So I actually found, it was pretty low res, but a picture of the stickers that went on the big Falcon, and then actually used that as a material and applied it. That was kind of fun. So one thing.
Did you make sure that they're slightly off center when you put them on?
I did. Yeah, I rotated them 2 degrees and then pushed them so they just went off the edge, and then I wrinkled them a little bit because I had to pull them off and put them back. Why is the lower right corner of every one of your stickers bumpy? I did not go through here and put in the actual thing, there's like little cuts in this that go in to allow this stud to stick up. I didn't do that. I skipped it in this model because the time it takes, it's actually kind of a pain because you have to line it up with a plate, find out where the stud is, find the maximum width of where the stud hits the wall, put lines in there, project that normal to the face, and then push it up. It just takes a while, but the same effect is here because I can actually see the stud peeking through, so nothing's really lost. But if you were trying to make more accurate pieces, all these round pieces and these angle pieces actually have little notches on the grid to allow studs to poke through. So I'm telling you, I'm intentionally skipping that. It's not an oversight. I believe
Or it's an intentional oversight.
the technical term for that is haffassing. All right. I think this is another one we get to check this out. Woo,
Yeah.
good. Option, vertical. Pow!
Fastest move in the West.
I'll save it again. All right, little brown brick here, and these two little, I think they're just silver guys there. I don't think I have anything like that right now. I don't. No. All right, so I'm gonna grab one of these, copy it over here, make unique.
Erase the nub.
Flat plate 1x1, brown. Get rid of that. Select it all. Just that easy. I don't remember where it goes anymore though. Now I got it. All right.
Right there.
So this one's gonna go. I don't have the snap. I don't have a point here to snap to. Anytime I ran into that before, I just put it where I need it, and then that's where we'll slide it this way. 16. There we go.
I have to say this is going a little more smoothly than building all of Izzy's pieces.
Well, Izzy's was awesome. That was a lot of fun to do, but we have a lot fewer
Angles.
curves and angles, and yeah. And this may actually be a silver piece, but I'm just gonna call it gray.
Yeah, it looks different. It looks like a different color than the El Gray piece that it's going to mount to.
Yeah, I think that's the silverness, but we're doing this.
So most of my Lego pieces predate the little stud popper guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of pieces like this, if you look, you can actually make out little teeth dents. There's a lot of these that have Jody's. If I ever die and you need dental records, just dig up some of my old Lego pieces. And
now we know.
You can use that.
Perfect.
You need to save them.
Really? I don't see anybody telling me that.
So Andy, apparently, my comment was a kiss of death, and you know, if something bad happens, it's my fault.
Command S. You're right. Good call, Andy. Okay, so we're here. I think we're getting near the end. Those pieces are all in. Got a couple wedges and a couple more of these little button guys. Let's see. All right, so this, hey, this is fun. We don't have a, so I'm gonna drag this, I'm gonna stick it right here and then rotate it 45 degrees and then move it up like that. I don't think that lined up right. Okay, so I'm going to grab it by the middle of my indentation and line that up with the edge on my round. There we go. And since it's 45 degrees, it means I can grab it and I can go to rotate, find the center of that circle right there, and I can go option rotate 90 degrees. That deserves a boom. Boom. All right.
Yeah, so I also like to use bada bing when I can.
I'm not opposed to that.
Okay.
All right, so now this thing, so I have these studs, 1, 2, 3, 4, go onto these 4 studs right here. This is a spot where I can either turn on X-ray and use the interior geometry to nest it, or I can use the grid to say this one's right here, because this corner lines up with where the corner would be if this wasn't round. And then I can just move it from there. So that one's going to go from this to this, to this, and that one to that one. All right. Save. Am I tempting fate again? All right, 21. All right, here we got a flat black piece and then 2 vent pieces. Do I have a vent I can just copy, or is that somewhere else? I don't know. All right, I already forgot where
that weird piece.
All right, so I'm gonna grab this guy right here. Option copy. Drop that right at the corner there. Option copied over here. And then this piece in the middle is just a 2, but it's flat on the top. So I could grab this guy. So I do one of 2 things. Here, I'll just do this. This is easier. Option copy that over. Option copy again. Grab both of them. Make a component. Flat plate. 1x2 black. Come in. Explode. Erase my lines.
Okay, I found it.
All right, what'd you found?
The minifig was in your Da Vinci's air screw video.
That's
from
right.
February 28th.
Now that you say that, I know that that is true.
Of course, yes.
It's always in the last place you look. Yeah.
I had people were chiming in on with when he died, so.
There you go. That's detective work. Jody Holmes right there.
I didn't do that.
Oh.
I basically just took Dave Richards and Hey Girl Hey. They are the ones that posted when it was.
All right. Thanks, guys. All right, so we have some little feet to go underneath. Yeah, look at that. We got like almost nothing. All right, so we have a little round 2x2 and then a little domey inverted 2x2 thing. So let's do that. I'm gonna grab my 2x2, copy it over here. We'll make the plate first, and then we'll make the domey thing after that. So I'm gonna make this unique, and I'm gonna call this round plate. What color was that? Dark gray. All right. Come in here, start with a circle. Go grab the midpoint, bring it over. Midpoint, bring it down, pull it up. All right. And same thing I usually do. Get rid of this bottom because it's easier to recreate it than it is to try to fix it. That's not something I learned right away either. You should know. And what actually happens on here is this little piece isn't quite right. See how that got weird? That's actually what happens. Try to think how to cut that. What's the best way to cut that off? If I grab...
I wonder if you had, if it was all, like since it's 24 segments, I wonder if maybe it's like a little cropping weird issue that happens because of the...
No, that's what I'm saying. This is actually on the minifig, or on the piece. This actually gets cut off all the way up. Let me show you. I'm gonna actually.
Oh yeah. No, about that part. I just didn't realize it humped out as much as it's doing there.
All right, so I'm gonna grab this geometry now.
Work? Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's the right thing. Rotate it 90 degrees, 3x, and then I can actually just come in here and pull that up all the way to the top. There we go. This is a little excessive for how small this is, I know, but that is actually the way it looks. And you can kind of make it out on here. See that? See that little flat space right there? So it does actually do that. So I'm just gonna do that to the other 3 sides super quick. Just push, pull it up. Somehow, I'm not sure why that is, but we got these 2 extra lines sitting here. Then these are all extra lines also. Just get rid of those lines. And then I'm just going to triple click and soften and smooth that. And I'll get rid of those the extra lines I don't need. All right, so there we go. Oh, I didn't make it light gray. No, dark gray. Dark gray.
Dark gray. Other light gray.
Oop,
Darker light gray.
Offset 1.6 and push up 1.6. And apparently resoften. Okay, so there's that. The other piece that goes underneath that is kind of a variant of this. So I'm going to take this right now. I'm going to option copy it straight down and make it unique and call it a round. I'm going to use the turn dome because I want to. Whoops.
All right, I'll allow it.
And that's going to be an L gray piece. Happy little light gray. All right, and now, whoops. I'm going to go into this piece. I flipped it all the way upside down. Not necessarily totally necessary, but I'm going to push pull this down to, I want to go all the way down. I just want to erase it. See what that doesn't do anything good. I'm going to grab this surface and I'm going to option copy it straight down and then delete everything above that. All right, I'm going to grab that circle and move it vertically like that because I'm going to use that in just a second. Draw a line from here to here. Draw a line up 1.6 because I'm assuming the standard is still maintained. And then I'm going to draw an arc from here to here. Like that. I'm going to select this piece, follow me with that. It's kind of tiny, so my geometry got a little goofy. Hey, I get to stitch something.
Yay.
Good. I enjoyed it. I'm honestly not quite sure why it had a problem with that. But I'm at the finish line. I want to get this done, so I'm just fixing it. Which is a skill I've recently learned, fellas, folks, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. It's called production mode. It happens after 2 hours of modeling. All right, there we go. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know really what happened. I don't know what any of this is. But we'll get rid of it because we don't care.
And pretend it never happened.
That's right. And then I'll come in here, force a piece right there, grab it all and soften it, grab it all, color it with light gray, and then get rid of this piece right here.
See ya.
All right. Now we can take.
So this has got a weird snapping point, though, right?
A weird snapping point?
Oh, I guess you can use the box. Never mind. Use the bounding box. Oh, that's still there.
There we go. All right. Yeah. So we'll grab those, and then we can grab them by exactly. We'll grab them right there, and then we'll go stick them. Oh, except I didn't draw my pieces, so I gotta figure things out again. I don't even know where these go. Where do these go?
Well, and they don't, and they line up like in the in between spots. Like you can only really do.
Okay, we knew that
with these guys.
Because it looks like what we got here is this piece lines up to this corner right here. And then drops down on top like that. So that's cool. And then I'm going to draw me a reflecting surface. So I'm going to draw one of these flags that I like to draw. I'm going to say Curic mirror that thing. The one in back, I'm assuming they touch. They're edge to edge. Yep. So same thing here. I'll grab this one. Grab that assembly. Option copy it to right here. And then move it vertically to the right spot. And then I can copy that to the other side of that again. Cool. All right, so we got those pieces in. And again, I got some Z fighting because I didn't go through and make those notches. So it's something we could do. We could add that, but let's get this model done. I'm going to save. I seem to really like to switch to that image. Probably don't even need that open. Ah, so close. And then we get a special piece. All right.
Yeah.
So I got a little wedge back here, and then I got this thing.
I've already made the wedge, so hey.
Said with so much disdain. All right. Yeah, the wedge is going to be easy, right? Because I can just, I'm not going to grab this. Well, yeah, I could grab this one. It's only 40. I know it's 45 degrees, so I could grab it right by the end. Option copy it right to the middle of this brick. Whoops. To the middle. And then I can just rotate it on the 45, or on the, I'm sorry, on the flat, on the blue axes. I'll just rotate it 45 degrees. That's easy. The next plate with the little hole thing on there, I grab my standard plate, make it unique, and then call it plate with hole
Thingy.
thing.
Spelled thing wrong.
I did. How do you know it's not called a ting? You don't know.
I don't. That's true. Never mind.
Is it black or dark gray? It is dark gray. D gray. All right. And now this plate, I'm just going to get rid of this. Come here. And I'm going to raise this up. I think, I'm guessing, again, based on my proportions, I'm guessing that's going to go up 6.4. And then I assume, oops, draw an arc with 12 sides. Put it right here. Half circle. And push that back like that. And then I have a circle here, which I'm guessing, again, falling on my standards, on my sizes, we could probably guess what size that is. So if I come out here, 2.4.
Well, I know you can actually stick a single pip or a single stud on another piece into those holes.
Right. So that puts it
But
at
that
2.4.
could be because of the little, yeah.
So that's going to be good enough for what we got. So I started to say this earlier, but one of the things that you can actually get is there are people out there who have put up drawings of how everyone, like seriously detailed drawings, but you do have to look for them. They're not easy to find. Again, I didn't get into that because the point of this was supposed to be something fun to do. And scouring the internet for drawings of individual pieces and then exactly duplicating them took some of the fun out of it. All right. So it does have a second lip set in there, so maybe we can come in here. See if we pull that out. Oops. 0.8. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna push it back in. Same thing. 0.8. That looks like the same thing. Oops. I'd believe that. I'd believe me if I told me that was right.
Well,
All
I mean,
right.
you wouldn't lie. You wouldn't lie about something like that,
Why would
right?
I lie? Why would I lie to me? Oh, we're just in the home stretch and now all the weird parts are showing up. All right, so I got a clear angle thing. That's easy. I got dark reddish rust colored 1x1 plates and then a Millennium Falcon cockpit. Are they the same brown color? Oh, yeah, looks like the same thing. Yeah, that's easy.
Is that Chewbacca brown?
Ooh, maybe. No, that's over 8.
I'm sorry, what was that sound you made?
I did not try to make a Chewbacca sound, if that's what you're insinuating.
No, it sounded like maybe a little infant Chewbacca.
Oh, it was unintentional if it slipped out. All right, so I'm gonna bring this over here and make this unique. And I called these things grabber plates. I don't know if that's right. I assume it's not.
No, I think that actually is right.
All right, and I will select all and color that dark gray first. And then the way I did this, I think I called this, I divided this in a third because that looked like it was about right. And then I'll raise this up 2.4. No, 4.8. There we go. And then what was my circle size here? What did I make this? This was
2.2.
2.4.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
2.4. Yeah. Okay. I was going to say 2.6. I was going to be wrong anyway.
What's right? I mean, really. Okay, I guess right.
It has
right
to be a part 8. A 0.8 if we're maintaining scale.
Wait, what?
Huh? I figured it had to be divisible by 0.8, and 2.4 is divisible by 0.8, whereas 2.6 is not.
That all makes sense.
Have we already talked about Dune in any of these sessions here?
I don't think so. You guys got any feelings about Dune? Let's see what everybody's thinking.
Dune the movie with concept art done by our own. Well, he's not really our own, is he?
No, but we like him.
What's his name?
Chris
Wait,
Rosewarne?
who is he? What's his name? Yeah, Rosewarne. Chris Rosewarne. Dune, yes. Yeah, one of the concept artists actually had a session at our last base camp where he was just showing how he makes sci-fi concept art using SketchUp. It's pretty amazing.
It was pretty cool. And the cool thing that I didn't actually get to go to it. We've talked about that. The downside to working at 3D Base Camp is you have to work at 3D Base Camp. But I did hear from some people that the thing that they were most surprised about is how much he just uses native commands. Like he's not a big extension user, kind of like Nick Sonder, just used a lot. That's facing the wrong way. Uses a lot of basic commands to make his stuff.
I actually proctored that class, so I got to sit in there, and nobody had to ask questions that needed me. So basically, I just got to sit in there and watch.
All right.
And it was impressive. It was all very much so just using basic tools and intelligent use of components.
He actually has some classes on Gumroad too. So if anybody is interested, has seen his work, wants to see what it is he does, you can do that. He has Gumroad classes. So.
For some reason, if I don't respond, if I'm typing respond to my chat thing and I don't do it to a specific person, then it doesn't appear to be going out there.
You seem to be saying that every time, and it seems to be happening like a certain amount into the session every time too.
Well,
I'm just
I
noticing
think
that.
I was being more. I think I was being more diligent in trying to call out responses to people so that it was easy to see who was getting the answer. And
Ah,
as soon as I started doing that, it broke everything. Broke it all. Oh well.
what am I trying to do here? What's the full height of a brick? I already forgot.
Uh,
9.6? 9.6.
9.6. Okay.
9.6.
Sky on Facebook just asked how you did the rotate copy of that squiggly line around the pivot point. And I'll be
Well,
honest, I wasn't watching. So
yeah, what I did was I wanted that to be exactly the same on both sides. So after I created them, I just selected them and then rotated it from the middle of this flat plane. Because that way I could just take it, modifier key, and then just bring it to the other side like that. Simple, easy way to do that. Then you can just put the same curve on both sides. I like to do that a lot when I start making curves because I like my curves to be symmetrical. All right, I'm totally winging this piece because here's my reference drawing. So I think I'm going to take this and I'm going to scale it about the middle to, I don't know. I don't have exactly the size I need to put there, so I'm going to make it that big. And then we'll put a circle, just a standard circle. 1.6? All right, wait, there's 3.2? No, 2.4. Whoa. 2.4. There we go. And then it comes out 1.6. Then it gets offset 0.8 and then pushed back in. Whoops. A lot of whoopses. 1.6. Light gray. And make component. This is just getting called the cockpit. It's not getting used anywhere else. All right. I didn't put the stickers on there. We're not doing decals today.
that's to be done later.
That's right. You can do that. You can do that when you get home. Why'd this have to happen?
How did this happen?
We're done, right? This is it. This is the last piece. Unless we
So
want
I
to make
feel like that
missiles.
little bit you can use the light gray landing pad thing at the bottom. You could probably turn that into it pretty easy.
Yeah. Actually, I could. It's, you know, it's. I'm curious about. Let me just.
Easy for you to say.
Let me just make some noises real quick, and then.
Chewbacca.
No, that's more. That's some more jabber. I did wear my Star Wars
Andy was
shirt.
wondering. Andy was wondering if there was any booze influencing your sounds, or maybe it was a sound I made. I'm not sure.
It's just too much coffee, I think, at this point. There's that delicate balance, ever so delicate, of a proper amount of caffeination, caffeinating.
Caffeination. I think caffeination is right.
Okay, and yeah, I'm on the edge. I'm on the edge today.
Yeah, I can't believe you're still drinking. Actually, if I had to stop drinking caffeine like an hour and a half ago, or I won't sleep until tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm living on the edge. We got a new paradigm. These unprecedented times. All right, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to draw half of this thing. It's going to come down 4.8. I just said 2.8, didn't I? From here is 4.8. All right, so I'm going to drop down 4.8. Okay. And now 2.4 puts me here. Bring that straight up, 1.6. That's half a stud. Now here I'm going to come up 0.8 and then draw that. All right, so that is half of that dish shape. But I do have to draw the inside because it'll be visible. So I'm going to take this and offset it 0.8. And then this is where that stud is. I'll come this way, 0.8. And I'm actually going to draw that interior piece on this one. Oops. So come this way, 0.8. Drop down to here and go across like that. I think that is going... Wait, no. What did I do that for? Hold up. All right, there we go. I think that's going to work. Let's save. Now we'll find out. Grab this, follow me, click that. All right, I think that worked.
That looks pretty good.
It is inverted. It's wrong side out, so reverse faces. We'll call this the dish. And that is light gray, I believe. It's dark gray, and it has a hole all the way through the middle. I'm close. All right, so we'll go ahead and color that. And then we can make that easy enough because I know that all I have to do is offset that 0.8, which gives me a 2.4 circle, 319.
Well, that's almost the same thing as 3.2, which is divisible by 0.8, so we're still good.
There we go. Re-soften that. And then we have this thing, which I'm really at a total loss for any reference or size here. So I'm just going to make a T of tubes that are all, I don't know. I don't even know. I'm just going to start with a circle of 1.2 because that was the size we made before. It's time to get arbitrary, my friends. Pull that up. I'm going to call it 6. And I'm going to take that from this middle point. Copy it to 90 degrees. And
Didn't you make a T? You made a T-ish. You have one that was part of a brick, which you did earlier too. But this is fine. This is fine. This is fine.
This is what happened.
Okay.
Get rid of this geometry right here because I don't need that. And I'm going to just triple click everything and intersect face with selection. Color it light gray, make it a component, call it a T, and then see if I can clean it up with Solid Inspector. Boom. All right.
I'll be honest, there's only one step left. So, I mean, other than making Han.
Not going to happen.
And Han's gun.
Do I have a circle at the mill that I can grab this by? Did I break all my circles? I think I broke every single circle.
But at least you can use the endpoints on each of the X and Y axes of that thing to find a center, right?
That's true. So I can grab this by the center. There we go. And I'll come this way. There's my point there. Grab by the center again.
Shouldn't
on the
that
green.
fit?
Boom.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I had a plan.
Yeah, yeah. I just wasn't seeing the smaller hole, and I was trying to figure out why it wasn't snug.
All right.
Look at
Gotta
that.
group that.
Space Mouse tagging right into it.
That's right.
This is the appropriate use of the Space Mouse, really.
Yeah. Outer space mouse. All right, I'm rotate that to 90, and then I'm going to rotate that to something like that. And I'm going to grab that. I'm going to stick it in my grabber. I did just arbitrarily rotate this, so I got some weird hole or edge alignments. But what if I could just align it to the center there, to the center of that. Boom, there we go.
Look at that. Look at that.
Whew. And that is a Lego Millennium Falcon.
Nice. That's real nice.
So not bad, 2.5 hours. Let's save. I'm gonna come in here and purge unused real quick. Oh, that was the window I wanted. I'm curious how big this ended up. 123 component instances, 45 specific components. We created 45 components to make that, and then use them 123 times to make 45 edges and 16,000 faces. That's respectable. I really got an ugly knoll over here, but I might want to clean that up before I post.
Yeah, that stuff's pretty easy to. Yeah, it's pretty easy to clean that up.
So yeah, that was fun. That was cool. Whoops.
Now you got to make it tiny again because it's huge.
That's
Huge.
right. It is. It is a big, fat Millennium Falcon right now. Hold on first. Let me.
You should probably shrink it before you start knolling it because that stuff's got to be heavy.
Yeah, but think how close I'll have to put it together when I'm small.
Oh, that's true.
Some big sweeping motions here instead of fine tuning. Excuse me, you're gonna scoot over just a little bit to make room for you.
See, this bit of fun you're having right now is exactly why people knoll.
I could see this being very satisfying. I don't wonder at this, but
So I wouldn't do it at the beginning of a project, but say I was working on something and I got halfway through it and then it was time to go be responsible to go do something else. A lot of times I will kind of knoll all of my partially assembled pieces. This isn't a Lego thing. This is a woodworking thing when I say this. But so then whenever I come back later, it's less mess. Less mess.
Makes sense. That I get that. That makes a lot of sense. All right. Well, that's better. That's a little cleaner. I'm not really satisfied geometrically with where some of these pieces fall, but I think it'll work for now. I feel like I could have a snugger knoll. Is that a thing? A nice compact snug knoll. I may be making. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make fun of the knolling community at this point. I'm just talking.
This is a safe place, I think. Yeah.
Okay. You guys won't judge me for my anti-knollism.
Yeah. As long as we don't start doing grassy knoll comments or any of that.
Okay, that's good. We'll leave that alone. All right, there we go. Okay, so yeah, so now the final step would be to grab everything, grab it all.
Delete it.
Scale it to 0.001. Is that right? Is that the right number of zeros? Was that too many zeros? Should you 0.01?
2 zeros. 2 zeros.
All right, that's what I did. Now let's go check. Let's go check a stud. Straight across the stud. Whoops. Come on, UI. 0 meters. Oh, units. Millimeters. All right, try that again. 0.48 millimeters.
Is that right?
I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a while. 4.8. Wait, did I say 4.48? I think I meant 0.4. Oh.
So it needs to be 4.8.
We better call this now.
It is 4.8.
4.8.
All right.
So there we go. Proper finished scale even. I'm going to grab all this and just group it. That way if I want to like fly it around, I can just, whoops. Oh,
pew, 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 pew. Sound effects not included.
You know what I learned today is on an iPhone,
No.
if you, or I learned this last night, on an iPhone, if you type pew pew and hit enter, it makes a laser show on the screen of whoever you send it to. My wife taught
Only
me
in like in the message app, right?
Yeah, if you go to iMessage and type pew pew.
Yeah, my 15-year-old daughter learned me a whole mess of, well, because you can basically pick a bunch of different ones.
Mm-hmm. You hold down on the send button. That's fun.
Yep.
Well, hey,
Yep.
the important part is we got to hear where we are. So I don't know if that ended up being a, oh, you know what? I will have to do this. Grab that from a point. Let's get back to the origin.
I guess that could have been a model along. I don't. It didn't sound like anybody else was modeling along.
Yeah, that was I just did something.
They did
got a
do
little
some
weird
stuff
at
in
the end.
advance. Yeah.
I admit, I was worried because I'm like, I don't know if we can model along speed step by step by step for this whole thing, and I don't think we could. I think we would still have another hour or so. But we did get this far, which I'm having issues with something, but I don't know. There we go. Okay, there we go. Now that's working better. I think in scale, I was thousands or hundreds of thousands of millimeters away from the origin. I'll go ahead and save that. And yeah, that'll go up on Warehouse. So you guys can grab it and play with it if you want, or you can just use those instructions or any other instructions for Lego and go do that. Like I said, it is an awesome, I feel like I stepped up my own 3D modeling game doing that project in my free time. And that's just to reiterate this, I've said this before too, even if you use SketchUp at work, I recommend having a personal project you're doing on the side just to keep yourself moving forward. What can happen with SketchUp at work is you model the same kind of thing over and over again. You keep, unless you're Chris Rosewarne apparently, you end up modeling the same thing. You get really good at one way of doing something. So pick something different from what you model at work and do that and keep advancing your skills. Like I said, this is a great way because this is actually documented and it does all fit in that grid. So it's a good way to keep moving forward.
I don't know if the rest of the world has ever seen this, so I've got to share it. Except that it's not going to share because I'm going to try and post it to the whole world, and it fails on me when I do that, which is lame. But let's see if it works. Did it work? It looks like it worked.
I saw it. We had an Instagram thing come through.
Oh, but it added a bunch of crap on the end of the URL. Anyway, so this is Aaron's. Whenever he talks about this original project, the rest of the world may not have seen this whole thing. But this was basically 17 months of Aaron's life.
Give or take. All right, I'm going to do something. I'm going to take my screen offline for a sec because I might have something in here that I'm not supposed to show. I don't know. It might be fine. And see if I can find, there it is. All right, this is just for fun because we're at the end. This was the final model that got created. So yeah, this was months of free modeling. But like I said, what I ended up doing was trying to spend about an hour a day. That was my goal, Like I said, that came in waves of productivity, but about an hour a day to just come through here and just model stuff in SketchUp piece by piece, and then ended up tagging it based on the bags that were in the original model. So you can actually see as you come through here, so we take off the armor, there's actually an interior modeled in here too. But yeah, that was significantly bigger. Let's look at how big this was.
On a regular basis, I'd come back from lunch or leave for lunch and just see Aaron leaning on his elbow, just modeling Lego piece by Lego piece.
That's right. No lunches for me. I had to get to work. So 665 components used 7,351 times. The bags, William, what I was talking about, when you get a Lego kit, you know, they're built into or distributed in small chunks that you work on in plastic bags. So bag one will be one portion, and then the next piece. So I actually tagged it according to the bags as well. But yeah, so millions upon millions of polygons. But it was definitely a fun process and a good. So this was the stuff that drove me crazy. These kind of things and little telephone piece, and said all the stuff that's a lot of fun to put on in a real Lego kit was just irritating when I did this. So yeah, so we did not do that. We did not try to do this as a live stream because we would not have gotten through bag one.
You didn't include the word Lego on any single stud, did you?
No, because that would have been another 10 million polygons. I didn't even.
I think you did try to show it to the folks at Lego, right? Hoping that they would send you the actual $8,000 kit.
I tagged them on Instagram. It didn't go anywhere. So if any of you have any kind of pull with Lego, let them know. I worked real hard on this. I did not. I originally, when I started modeling it, I did have the underside of plates detailed, but I ended up scrapping it because it did start to lag just as I was working on it.
I can believe it.
You can see the underside's not completed there. So, awesome. Well,
next you need to do a Star Destroyer.
Nah, I feel good about where I'm at.
I found my happy place.
That's right.
I think Microfighter is about the level of interest that I could maintain. Oh, I'm going to make a TIE fighter. I'm going to make an X-Wing.
Go for it. You should do that. You guys should do that at home. So yeah, so that's where we're at. I think we're done.
I think you've certainly done plenty.
We've done it. All right. Well, hey, thank you guys. Thanks for hanging out with Jody and I. I use the improper use of the term I. Sorry. Thank you for hanging out with Jody and me. I hope you guys are all out there. There's a bag missing. It's bothering me. There we go. Hope everybody out there is staying safe, staying solo. That was a good one too. Staying healthy, staying sane. It sounds like we're getting through this. We're getting closer to something. So we seem to be taking steps towards maybe a little more normalcy or a new normal. But hopefully you guys are hanging out. Everybody's being good, being conscious, and keeping sane and keeping your brain together. Washing your hands, that is a good point Andy pointed out. A lot of people aren't.
He's keeping it topical, man.
Sorry, washing your hand. Well done. Good stuff. All right, anyhow, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm rambling at this point. Thank you very much. We will be back here on Friday doing another live model, hanging out, relaxing Friday afternoon, have fun, more SketchUp. So hopefully see you guys then, and we will talk to you all later. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming, guys.